Like a thief in the night, women are losing their hair. And that's a very serious problem. It's even happening to children. And that's what got my attention. A woman with a man, and he don't know that she don't have any hair underneath that weave. I have clients, their husbands don't even know. They don't have any hair underneath their whole top is missing. They come in, the man don't know. Weave was not designed to replace your own hair, okay? You have to sit back and just use your own common sense. Weave is supposed to help, not hurt. I have a client out in California. When her husband found out, I'm sorry, he left her. But he didn't leave her because of the baldness. He left her because she was too afraid to trust him. I want to show you the healthy way of wearing weaves, where you have more hair after the weave than less hair. We're going to combat balding. We're going to stomp out hair loss while wearing hair weaves. We cannot sit back and just allow this to happen to our friends, especially to our loved ones. I bet you it's a family out there that's saying, wow, finally someone understands. Let's talk about the beginning stages of alopecia, a severe case of baldness. Did you know alopecia can be turned around? It is not permanent until you try to heal it. Our bodies have our own self-healing in our scalps. But you have to remember, you have to use a lot of common sense for your particular makeup of your body. You have to understand what it is that your follicle is allergic to, what truly makes you itch. You have to break it down. It has to be broken down for you so you can grow in hair. You can't be doing so much medication that you have to be dependent on the medication, and then once the medication stops, then your hair falls out because you're not taking the medication any longer. You have to know the particular questions to ask your dermatologist, because if you don't, you can be bald for life. Let's talk about healing. I've had some cases where the hair came back with severe alopecia. I call it the bozo effect. Now, ladies, I want to take you somewhere. Those that still have hair on the tops of your heads. Those that kind of don't understand how a woman could become suicidal, depressed, have low self-esteem because the hair is gone from the top of the head. How a woman could want privacy, no one to be in the salon when she's getting her weave done because there's no hair on the top of her head. I want you to just close your eyes with me for 1 second. Just close your eyes and picture one of your closest female loved ones, even yourself, and let that picture become you. Those that still have their hair. I got a little spot one time, and I worked that spot until that hair came back. I can't imagine my whole top gone like Bozo the Clown. Not one strand. And this is what's happening to a lot of women, that male pattern balding. It is severe. It is destructive. It is bad. And it's hurting a woman. She's not 100% anymore. She's only 75%. No matter what front she puts up, when she's in her prayer closet by herself, she's asking God, why? She don't have alopecia, excuse me. She don't have chemo. She's not going through chemo. She's not sick. Only thing is happening, her hair is falling out. They don't come in here with answers that I need. They're going to dermatologists, they're going to institutions all over this country, but they're not getting the answers that they need. So we're covering it up. We're covering it up, and we're praying, we're hoping, we're wondering if this hair gonna come back or not. But where did this hair loss come from? What started it? You have to go back into your grandparents and your great-grandparents and ask, did they have this problem? No. In most cases, they didn't. So we have to start checking our eating habits. We have to start thinking about our consumptions of water, our periods of rest. We have to make sure we understand that our holy temples are more important than anything that we're doing out there in the world. So what I want to do first, we want to start off with breathing techniques. When you first wake up in the morning, moving the head around, getting the oxygen and the hemoglobin working on the top of your heads. We have to make sure we do scalp manipulation when our braids are too tight. We have to make sure the follicle is being nurtured. Like a flower in your yard. You have to take the right fertilizer and put it on the grass to make sure the grass is going to come out a certain color. Well, your hair is that important as well. You can't be in a hurry when you're going into these salons anymore. You have to be able to relax, and you have to give the stylist the opportunity to do the right thing for you. You need to be able to talk to your stylist about your history, about your hair. You need to know what chemicals you had from one stylist to the next. You need to know what shampoos and what conditioners you use from one stylist to the next. It's time to start asking questions, ladies, because you are the money for the stylist and for myself. But we need more information from you because this baldness is serious and it's going to go down from one generation to the next And I have to put my foot down when I see these 12 and 13-year-old babies coming in here without hair. Something is amiss. I don't know what it is, but I know it is very, very important that we get a handle on it. Yes, we can wear weaves. That's not a problem. I love wearing my weave. But I have long hair underneath here. My own hair is very important to me. God gave me hair, okay? Man is mimicking God. God is not mimicking man, all right? So what we have to understand here is walk in a salon, leave the laptops at home, leave the cell phones. Make sure you have the right timing for your hair because pushing a stylist to move quickly is hurting you in the long run. Ask the proper questions with your hair. The baldness is coming from somewhere. We can't pinpoint exactly where it's coming from, but it's here now, and it's looked like it's finding a home in our culture, and that's wrong. We can make enough money. It's a lot of money out here to be made in the hair industry, but we don't have to hurt one another to do it. And I'm telling you, I'm pleading with you. I'm asking you with all my heart as a child of God, please, if you can't help a sister, don't touch her. Ladies, weave is a fashion statement. It was designed to enhance your looks, but also to enhance your own hair, to grow and make your own hair healthy. Weave was not designed to replace your own hair, okay? You have to sit back and just use your own common sense. Weave is supposed to help, not hurt. People, glue is wrong. It's bad. It started in the theater, okay? It was used way back in the day in the coffin when people died in the early 1800s. It was used to stick hair on dead people. Now, they've enhanced it where they could use it on live people, but in the theater, they used it that one day and took it out that same day or that next day. Now, if you have to wear glue, you have to know how to nurture the follicle because the glue, anything that gets on the skin, on the face, on the head, anything that's around your hair follicle, even if it's on the hair, it's on the scalp, wherever you put in the glue, okay, it's going to get into your system. It's going to get into your bloodstream. You have to go in and detox. Pure castor oil will do that for you. If you wear the glue today, you take it out tomorrow, you take pure castor oil that you can find at any one of your neighborhood drugstores. Not in the beauty supply store, in the drugstore, okay? And you take that pure castor oil and you rub it in the areas where you put the glue. It's a detox. It's going to detox some of those toxins from the glue. It's getting into your system. It's getting into your bloodstream. If you have a bald spot here and you steady putting glue there, eventually if you do it long enough, the spot it's going to widen, but it already starts spreading because it's in your blood. And that's why the spot went from this size to this size over a period of time. It's a slow process, but if you're wearing glue, eventually you're not going to have any hair in that area. And now you're going to become totally dependent on fake hair for the rest of your life. The industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, yes, but it's enough of us wearing weave that we don't have to rape each other, okay? Information is essential about wearing the hair glue, any form of glue, any form of acrylic glue, any form of glue of any fashion for any type of technique. It's going to destroy that area eventually if you wear it enough. You want to do it sometimes, you just say, oh no, I got to wear my weave with my glue. This is quick for me. I do it myself. Okay, fine. Just like you do it yourself to enhance yourself, do it yourself to heal yourself with the castor oil or with proper washing and proper conditioning to make sure you get all that glue out, especially before you go into anyone's chair or anyone's salon with glue in your hair. If you get a weave put on top of more glue, eventually you're going to be totally and permanently bald with a severe case of alopecia. We don't want this, people. This is bad. This is not good. This is not of God. And I'm telling you, if you're doing this, stop it. Look at yourself in the mirror. Make sure you understand that your hair is part of your crown and glory. You're supposed to wear weave to enhance yourself, to bless yourself, to draw more attention to yourself from the other party, from a man. But if you take these weaves off, how much hair do you really have? While you're wearing the weave, nurture yourself and take your hair foods and take your vitamins, put your hair grease underneath the weave. Make sure you're understanding what it is you need for your weave to be a successful weave. Weave was used to grow hair, not take out hair. And we have to keep talking about this, and we have to make sure you understand how important it is to take care of your own hair and to ask the proper questions about your own hair. There are no two people alike. So you can't go to your girlfriend that has not the knowledge and say, well, girl, what you doing for your hair? That's her hair. That's not your hair. You have to understand what it is for you. And you know better than any professional. You do. You know better than any professional what was going on in your life before your problem started. So these are the things that we need to have written down when you come in seeking help when you have a hair loss condition. Because we're gambling. But don't let it be a gamble where we're walking into a dark closet and I don't know exactly what to do to help you because I don't know what you went through to get to this state. It's something wrong, people, but start with yourself with hair loss. Believe me, you don't want to look like a Bozo the Clown. You don't. Stop it before it gets that bad. Don't let a style make you get more bald because you won't stop parting in that area where there's no hair. You won't stop wearing a certain technique because it's the way you need to look. You gotta stop it before it gets bad. And if it's to change your style, you have to change your style. You have to get used to a bang or something. You have to get used to something that you're normally not wearing to heal the situation. And do what you need, not what somebody else needs. I have to continue to say that. You have to know what your particular makeup, your particular body, you have to know what you need. You can't gamble with it. It is costly and it's depressing. It's stressful. Oh, the stress from hair loss, okay? A woman with a man and he don't know that she don't have any hair underneath that weave. I have clients, their husbands don't even know. They don't have any hair underneath their whole top is missing. They come in, I put the weave in, I take the weave off the same day. They go home, the man don't know. I have a client out in California. When her husband found out, I'm sorry, he left her. But he didn't leave her because of the baldness. He left her because she was too afraid to trust him. with something that was that important. He wanted to know, where was the true trust? Ladies, if you're going through something, include your man. You will be surprised how caring they will be. So you don't have to fear, because I need at least 24 hours for your hair to rest in between taking a weave out and putting another weave in. I call it follicle stress, because we can't do so much to the follicle and expect for it to stay around. We're doing too much in the course of a day. We have to have at least 24 hours that we're not doing anything to the head. And people look at the people that's not doing anything to their hair. They have a whole lot of it. So let's work this thing out. Together as a team, we can work it out. Now, I know majority of the people love cutting their ends while they're wearing the weave because of this split end concept. But while you're braiding your hair and weaving or doing micro braids, or you don't have to cut your hair to wear the weave. What you can do is continue to wear your weaves. Don't cut your hair in between weaves. Continue to use hair grease. Keep the follicle lubricated while you're wearing the weave. You can cut your hair after you take the weave out and you want to wear your own hair. It has been my experience where the hair will grow better if you don't cut the hair while you're wearing the weave. I tell people it's like a little joke. I say, God ain't need no help from us with our scissors and our combs. But it's part of our lifestyle, it's part of our culture. But while weaving, it's easier to braid the hair if the ends are not even. And so the braid will lay down better. You know, you can take your hair off your braided weave and put another hair on, but keep the braid. You don't have to look the same for the whole 3 or 4 months you're going to wear your weave. You can use different hair, but the same braid. But if the braid is laid down properly and braided right, the braid will hold up for 3 months or so. So while I'm braiding, I don't need straight ends. You know, it'll stick up out the braid, especially when you're starting to wash the weave with the braid in there. The hair, your own hair, will start coming out the braid underneath the weave, and that's not too inconvenient. That's uncomfortable when you're combing and brushing the hair. Now, ladies, you have to understand something. When it comes to cutting the hair while you're wearing the weave, you can think about how much time, how many times you've done it, and then what was the results. And then you can ask yourself, maybe I should try it this way. It's not going to hurt you at all. Your ends are not going to split down to the new growth while your hair is braided. We've been wearing braids for hundreds of years. Our ends have never split down to the new growth, okay? So I'm going to touch on that a little later, but I just want to make it very clear that while you're wearing your weave, you don't have to cut your hair in between weaves. You know, ladies, you have been coming in with your hair with the perm on it that you did the night before. You want to get your weave the next morning. That's not healthy. Just think of it. It's not good. You're taking your follicle through too much. Now I'm going to braid up what you just straightened out with a chemical. And the braid has to be in the point where it's a little tight, not so tight that it's uncomfortable, but it has to hold. Now, when you put a chemical on top of that and then come into the salon and get a braid job and then a weave sewed on top of it, it's a little bit too much. The hair that you want to leave out should only be the hair that you put a chemical on. We don't need the hair that's going to be braided up to have a chemical on, especially not the next day. I want to ask you ladies something, and only you can answer this for yourselves. What condition was your hair in before you started weaving? compared to the condition that your hair is in now while you're taking weaves off, putting weaves on. The hair is supposed to be better, not worse. Weaves are good. Sew-in weaves are good. When you put a net on top of a braided weave, then sew hair on top of that net, that's like taking a pillow, putting it on your face, and then having someone to sit on it, okay? Your follicle has to receive oxygen. You have to breathe. You have to be able to get in there and rub, and, you know, whatever irritation might start, you have to be able to put your finger through there and stretch that hair. You know, if it's too uncomfortable. You can't put so much stuff in your head and expect to get positive results. Now, if you have alopecia, I can understand a net. But if you have a whole head full of hair, and then you're going to allow somebody to braid your hair, then put a net on top of that? No, people, you can say, stop, please. That I don't need a net. You don't need a net when you have braids. The hair is supposed to be braided, sewed onto the braids, not the net. It's my experience that we kind of forget about our hair underneath the weave. Stop. You come in and the hair is dry. You have so dandruff and psoriasis and different things going on because you kind of forgot about your hair underneath the weave. That's not good, people. It's really damaging to you, okay? Remember your hair underneath the weave. It's very important. When you're wearing a weave, you have to learn how to lubricate. You have to learn how to wash your hair properly. I'm going to show you something really easy, okay, when you're washing the hair. You see this? Watch this. You see this? While I'm washing my weave, I'm washing my weave in one direction. I'm not tangling it up. A detangler was made for human hair. There's no detangler that I need to use with weave on the bottle. It's a detangler made for human hair. Because now watch this. I'm washing this hair. Look at this. Look at that. I am tangling it up. So don't do that. Wash the weave in one direction. I take my hand, I go here, come down. Then I go and I open my head up. Open the weave up. Don't mess with the hair anymore. And then I go in there and I scrub my scalp. Because I don't have no net. It's just some braids. And I have long hair. I have long, full, thick hair. And long, full, thick hair is not in my family. It's just that I had to stop paradigming. I had to stop trying to do things that were normally not done. I had to make a change somewhere in my life when I saw a negative in my life. And hair loss is a negative. I didn't have my faith in the negative. I had my faith in the positive. So what I saw was this is not what God meant for me, not to have hair. So I'm like, okay, let me change my way of thinking about my hair. Let me make my hair as important as my mortgage. Let me make my hair as important as my walk with the Lord. Because my hair is my representative of myself. My presentation of me is my hair. So why shouldn't I spend as much time in the knowledge of my own hair as I would making sure I balance my checkbook properly so I won't get charged that $35 fee? Your hair can be very costly if your knowledge is about this much. Your hair can be a permanent position in your life where you will not know how to handle it or how to deal with it. Let's help one another, people. We can do this. Together we stand. Divided we fall. Some of my clients come to me with severe balding. It's a form of alopecia that is very stressful. The main thing that I know is that a lot of this type of alopecia is not shared with their loved ones or with their spouses. Ladies, I'm here to tell you that it's a possibility that your spouse will help you in this time of trouble. Open up and allow them to show you the love that they have for you in your times of trouble. We can do this as a team, but we need husbands to understand what is going on. Alopecia is a severe, serious disease. and it needs to be handled as such. Together, you can help. This is my client, and I work with her, and you wouldn't believe what her hair looks like now. I've basically loved her hair back to health. Now, this is a finished product. She's wearing a full closed-up sew-in weave that she can go in and she can oil her scalp, wash and condition, because there's no net, no glues, no cap. Remember, she came from this stage, and all we did was braid it up as if hair was there. And it holds for a 3-month period. She comes in once a month for a tightening, and we'll tighten it up and make it feel snug to her again. And in that time, small pieces of hair will come in between these braids to help heal this situation. In a lot of cases where you see little fragments of hair, I call them islands, little small islands in the sea. And what would happen is they'll just start to connect. If we oil it, condition it, wash it, leave it alone. Sometimes a woman will run away from a man that's looking to get to know her. If she has a severe case of alopecia, she'll be afraid to let him get to know her because she don't want him to find out what she really looks like underneath that weave. We could come together and we could help stop this problem. But first we have to know that this problem is happening and at a rapid rate. Like a thief in the night, women are losing their hair. And that's a very serious problem. We cannot sit back and just allow this to happen to our friends, especially to our loved ones. I bet you it's a family out there that's saying, wow, finally someone understands. And ladies, it's even happening to children. And that's what got my attention, really. 10-year-old, 12-year-old out here putting glue in their hair. They're ballerinas, tap dancing their way to baldness. Because beauty pageants, all different types of industries that these children are getting into, which my daughter was a part of. And the children were telling me about other 10-year-olds that were putting glue in their hair and snatching it out themselves. Glue could be purchased over any counter at any beauty supply store. A child can purchase it. And that's what's happening. But this is where I have to stand up and say something. We have to stop this situation from occurring in our families. Ladies, remember, weave was not designed to replace your own hair. You have to love your own hair. Love your hair. Love yourself. Walk with your history in the salon. Tell us a little more. Have a little more details about yourself before you go into the next weave. This is Gail. I love you and your hair. God bless. And until next time, bye-bye.